First Modern Olympics. On April 6, 1896, an ancient competition returned from the dead. Athens hosted the first Olympic Games of the modern era. There were no giant television deals, no global superstars, and no certainty that the Games would survive. Only 241 athletes competed. All of them were men. They represented 14 nations across 43 events. American James Connolly won the triple jump. He became the first Olympic champion in more than 1,500 years. First-place finishers did not even receive gold medals. They received silver medals and olive branches. Then a Greek water carrier named Spiridon Lewis won the marathon. The stadium erupted. The experiment had worked. The Olympics became a recurring stage where countries could compete without armies. But there was something dangerous about building a stage that large. Because a stage can celebrate humanity. Or it can be captured by those who want to control it. 40 years later, a dictatorship tried to do exactly that. Jesse Owens in Berlin. Berlin, August 1936. Nazi Germany wanted the Olympics to become a carefully constructed illusion. The regime temporarily removed anti-Jewish signs. Persecution was hidden from foreign visitors. Germany was presented as peaceful, organized, and powerful. Then Jesse Owens entered the stadium. He was 22 years old. He was black, and he was competing inside a nation built around a racist ideology. Owens won the 100 meters, then the long jump, then the 200 meters. Finally, he helped the American relay team win the 4x100 meters. 4 gold medals, 4 victories directly contradicting the image Nazi leaders wanted the Games to project. But Owens did not defeat racism forever. He returned to an America still ruled by segregation. That is what made Berlin so unsettling. The same athlete could challenge racist propaganda overseas while facing discrimination at home. Owens proved that sports could expose a political lie. But the next barrier would not fall at the Olympics. It would fall when one man quietly stepped onto a baseball field. Jackie Robinson's debut. April 15, 1947. Ebbets Field in Brooklyn. Jackie Robinson started at first base for the Brooklyn Dodgers. With that appearance, he broke Major League Baseball's modern color barrier. His box score looked ordinary. He went hitless in 3 at-bats. He scored 1 run. But nothing about the moment was ordinary. Black players had been kept out of the major leagues for decades. Robinson now faced racist insults, threats, and enormous public pressure. Any mistake could be used as an excuse to close the door behind him. He refused to disappear. Robinson helped the Dodgers reach the World Series. He was named Rookie of the Year. Other black players slowly entered the league. It would still take more than a decade for every major league team to integrate. But the barrier had been broken in front of the entire country. His number, 42, was eventually retired across Major League Baseball. The next historic contest was different. It was promoted almost like a circus, but beneath the spectacle was a question millions of people were being forced to confront. Battle of the Sexes. September 20th, 1973. More than 30,000 people entered the Houston Astrodome. Millions more watched on television. On one side was Billie Jean King, a 29-year-old champion fighting for respect and equal treatment in women's tennis. On the other was Bobby Riggs, a 55-year-old former champion who claimed the women's game was inferior. Riggs had already defeated top-ranked Margaret Court earlier that year. Now the match was being treated as a public referendum on women's sports. No single tennis match could truly determine the value of an entire gender. But that did not remove the pressure. An estimated 90 million people watched worldwide. King controlled the match. She defeated Riggs in straight sets, 6-4, 6-3, 6-3. Her victory did not prove that every woman could defeat every man. That was never the real point. It proved that women's sports could command a massive audience, and that female athletes could no longer be dismissed as a sideshow. Barely 1 year later, another stadium became the center of the world. This time, the threat was not humiliation, it was raw physical destruction. Rumble in the jungle. October 30th, 1974. Kinshasa, Zaire. Muhammad Ali stood across from undefeated heavyweight champion George Foreman. Foreman was younger, stronger, and terrifyingly powerful. He entered the fight with 40 victories and no defeats. Ali was 32. He had previously been stripped of his championship and kept out of boxing for years after refusing induction into the United States military. Many believed his best days were gone. The fight was also a political spectacle. Zaire's authoritarian ruler, Mobutu Sese Seko, used the event to place his country before a worldwide audience. When the bell rang, Ali did something that looked almost suicidal. He leaned against the ropes, he covered himself, and he allowed Foreman to keep punching. But Foreman's power was being drained with every attack. The strategy became known as the rope-a-dope. By the 8th round, Foreman was exhausted. Ali attacked. A final combination sent the champion to the floor. Ali had reclaimed the heavyweight title. Brute force had been defeated by patience. And the next great upset would follow the same pattern. Except this time, a group of young Americans faced a machine built by a superpower. Miracle on Ice. February 22, 1980. Lake Placid, New York. The United States hockey team faced the Soviet Union. The Americans were young. Most were college players. The Soviets were experienced, disciplined, and dominant. They had won 4 consecutive Olympic hockey gold medals. Shortly before the Games, they had crushed the United States 10-3 in an exhibition. Now, they met again during the medal round. The Soviets took 3 separate leads. Each time, the Americans returned. Mark Johnson tied the game in the 3rd period. Then Captain Mike Eruzione scored. The United States led 4-3. Goaltender Jim Craig protected that lead as the final seconds disappeared. The arena exploded, but the Americans had not won the gold medal yet. They still needed to defeat Finland in their final game. They did. The victory over the Soviets became larger than hockey. During the Cold War, millions of Americans saw their own fears and hopes reflected on the ice. But the next event attempted something even harder. It tried to unite a country that had recently been divided by law. 1995 Rugby World Cup. June 24, 1995. Johannesburg, South Africa. Apartheid had ended. Nelson Mandela had become president after the country's first fully democratic national election. But political change could not instantly erase generations of division. The national rugby team, the Springboks, had long been associated with white South Africa. Many black South Africans viewed the team as a symbol of apartheid. Mandela chose to transform that symbol. Before the World Cup final, he entered Ellis Park wearing a green Springbok jersey. The number was 6, the number of team captain Francois Pienaar. South Africa faced New Zealand in a brutal defensive game. The score was tied after regulation. It remained tied during extra time. Then Joel Stransky kicked a drop goal. South Africa won 15-12. Mandela presented the trophy to Pienaar. For one afternoon, people who had been separated by race celebrated under the same flag. The match did not eliminate inequality. No sporting event could, but it allowed millions to imagine a shared national identity. The final event on this list did not follow a political revolution. It showed something else. Even in a fractured digital world, one game could still pull humanity into the same moment. 2022 World Cup Final. December 18, 2022. Lusail Stadium in Qatar. Argentina faced defending champion France. At the center was Lionel Messi, 35 years old, one of the most accomplished players in history, but still missing the World Cup. Across from him was 23-year-old Kylian Mbappé, the young superstar threatening to take control of the sport's future. Argentina struck first. Messi scored from the penalty spot. Angel Di Maria made it 2-0. For nearly 80 minutes, France appeared finished. Then Mbappé scored a penalty. Just 97 seconds later, he scored again. 2-2. The final entered extra time. Messi forced the ball over the line. Argentina led again. Then France received another penalty. Mbappé converted it, 3-3. He had become only the second man to score a hat-trick in a World Cup final. With seconds remaining, France nearly won it. Randall Kolo Muani broke through the defense. He fired. Argentina goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez blocked the shot with his leg. The World Cup moved to penalties. Martinez saved one. Another French attempt went wide. Gonzalo Montiel stepped forward for Argentina. He scored. Argentina won the shootout 4-2. Their first World Cup since 1986, their third overall. Messi finally lifted the trophy. The match mattered because it showed what live sports could still do. Different languages, different countries, different lives, all frozen by the same kick of a ball. 8 events, 8 arenas. Sports did not automatically make the world fairer. They exposed the world as it really was, its prejudice, its politics, its fear, and its hope. The final score eventually fades, but history changes when millions of people witness the same moment and decide it means something more.